Hello, fiber people and hand spinners. Welcome to my channel, Camaj Fiber Arts. This is Mary Egbert, and I'm going to be spinning today for you. And I'll just see if there's a couple other people that want to join us since this is a live video, live feed, which is always fun. I hope you're all doing well. We're getting a bit of the fringes of the hurricane still, and it may be going up the west coast of Florida. We're in Cocoa Beach, so we're getting some of the storms. All right, so what I want to show you today is we're going to core spin some soft silk. And I've been showing you soft silk quite a bit. We are the supplier of soft silk. We have it made in India by my beautiful dyer. He does a fantastic job. We've been doing it for a long time, many, many years. I know. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you caught me today. Of all days, this is the day because I finally got my headset working. So this is a good day. Anyway, this is soft silk. It is a short stapled fiber. It's mulberry silk, and it's just lovely. It's beautiful to core spin, and I'll show you some yarns that I've done in the past, and to blend in bats and make confetti cake bats. So this is really wonderful, really wonderful. I know I haven't spun in a long time on videos. I've been doing carding and fiber preps and scouring, which is my absolute passion, but I haven't spun in a long time, so it's about time I spin again. I'm almost thinking of maybe getting some sort of classes online for spinning. I got a bruise. I don't know where, does you ever get bruises and you don't know where they came from? Not a clue. But then you hit yourself when you go, oh, that's going to make a mark. But anyway, I was thinking about having some sort of like a subscription channel that might, maybe $5-10 a month, and just go through spinning from beginning to end. And by the year, you guys will be experts. What do you think about that? Should I do something like that? There's so much to know about spinning. I'm sure I don't even know it all. But anyway, okay, enough of that. So what I'm going to do is show you how to core spin. Now, the core I'm using today is just a nice alpaca. It's a little fuzzy and a little grippy. You don't want to use a lot of silk, like slippery wools for your core spin unless you want to push them up, but that's another time. I did a video on coils a while ago, so that works pretty well. Now, when you're spinning core spuns and you want to ply them, you want to make sure you're spinning in the correct direction because you want to get extra twist in your core yarn to be able to go back and ply it, whether it's a 2-ply, a 3, or a thread ply. So I use, and a lot of times I have to use my Essie twist tool to see which direction the yarn is going. So I developed this tool, and what it does is it shows you, I don't know if it's backwards. It sure is backwards, but you line your fiber up or your yarn with the tool here, and it shows you whether it's going in the S direction or the Z direction. So the S direction is when your wheel is going to the left. So when you make an S, the S starts on the left, S direction is left, right? Correct? The Z direction is to the right. So this particular yarn was spun in the S direction. So I want to spin my core in the S direction to get a little extra twist so I can go back and ply it later. Seashells just moved out of our Hurricane Michael house into a new place and was so thrilled to unpack some soft silk. Right? Oh my gosh, that's so fun. That's so fun. I'm so glad. Well, we haven't had a hurricane in 2 years, and I really thought we'd have one this year, but gosh, and the Gulf is just getting bombarded. So anyway, My core's spun S. I'm going to core spin S, get some extra twist in there so I can ply later. Okay, so when you grab some soft silk to, oh, and let me show you one more thing. This is a little booklet that comes with it. I need to figure out how to change this camera so it's not backwards, but you can't see this. But anyway, this is Corespun. So this little yarn planner booklet has all these little cheat sheets. So if you're spinning a corespin, it asks you what direction is your base being spun, and this is how you corespin it. And this is S and this is Z. And then there's Navajo and chain ply. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a flow chart, and you really don't need to even think about it. Just follow the chart like you would a recipe, and you can spin all these different yarns. All right. The alpaca, very good question, Sandra. The alpaca is a 2-ply. You want to use 2 plies. Well, you don't have to, but I prefer using 2 plies because then I can see which direction the twist is in. It's just a little bit easier for me. The card booklet are showing up correctly. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's so funny that's showing up correctly on your screen, but it's backwards. That's so weird. That's so weird. All right, so I'm going to be spinning in. I'm going to be going left or in the S direction. And some people will say clockwise or counterclockwise. I really try to avoid teaching people that way. I like to do the S and the Z. I have it on my medium whorl setting, which is maybe 5 twists per inch, but it's not very fast. This is pretty fast, and this is almost a little bit too slow, and I have to build up too much twist. So here we go. Now I take my soft silk and I sort of fluff it up, and these 2 fingers are going to pull the soft silk on the core yarn. Hopefully you can see this okay. Okay, let's build up some twist in there. There we go. Now I sort of have this finger right here underneath the soft silk, sort of making it go on a little bit tighter so it's a really pretty, beautiful core. So can you see how even, well, it's not very even, but it's nice and shiny and slick. And then when I do a ply back, that's going to be a really pretty 2-ply. But this is just plain old soft silk, which is pretty cool because it makes a nice lightweight yarn. And yeah, so it's pretty neat. So you can do it yourself. Okay, now what I'm going to do is kind of fluff it up and let it roll on and make it a little bit chunkier. And you know, this is really cool to do if you're going to thread ply. I won't thread ply it today, but because it's a little puffier on the core, the thread will actually kind of cut into that and really make a really cool art yarn. So that's really, really pretty that way. And I'm spinning on a Kromsky Sonata, which I really like, but what's really weird is I didn't realize how far back the orifice is. Do you see that? It's kind of turned around, where my other wheel, this is all the way, the orifice is about right here, but this one's so far away. And I think they had to make it like that because it's a foldable wheel. But I love it. I used to have a Louette S10, but then I tried this one, and I've tried a bunch of different wheels, and I don't know, I really like this one a lot, even though I don't travel with it much anymore. And I've traveled with it and it broke, and oh my gosh, I was heartbroken. And even though it was packed really, really well, they just throw those things around like a bunch of baboons. I've seen them throw it around. What are you using for your core? Oh, this is just an alpaca. And we talked about this before, you want to use a little bit of a grabby yarn for your core. This has nice drape. It's nice and soft because your yarn kind of takes on the nuances of your core. So if you have I mean, you can use anything for a core, but if you have something that's very stiff and not very pliable, your end result yarn is going to be stiff and pliable. If you use a core yarn that's slick, it's going to be hard for this to, it's just a little bit easier if you have something a little bit grabby. Okay, so I'm fluffing that up. So I'm fluffing that up as I go, but see how cool that is? And when that's thread plied, that's going to be really pretty. Let me do just a little bit more so you guys can see. And I've got, I've carded some soft silk, and we'll go through that in a minute. Oh, and this soft silk, if you make silk paper, this stuff, I did a class at Plyaway and SAF on making silk paper, and it's super easy. I have the directions on Etsy for like $5. I mean, it's a nice PDF, and I think there's a video that goes along with it, but I really need to redo it just so it's a little bit more professional. I do all my own videos by myself, which can be a little challenging, but it just takes some time. One of these days when all this stuff is over, I think I'm going to hire a real videographer to videotape me. That'd be nice, huh? Have some just do your thing and let somebody do all the work. Because I go back and forth and back and forth, back and forth. But it's nice to do the live videos, and then I can chat with you guys, and you can kind of see the mistakes that I make. Because in my videos, I edit it out. All right, let's fluff it up again and see. Oh, and I had this yarn I made once called Fairy Wings yarn. And what I did is I carded a bat with mohair, and then I fluffed it. So when I did it, I took what I call the eyelashes, which is like the edge here, and really fluffed it up big. And then did that, the thread ply. Oh man, that really turned out cool. And there's the thick again. But again, if you do these artsy yarns where they're pretty puffy and thick like this, they're not going to wear very well. So I'm not sure if you want to make something out of it that has a lot of abrasion. Okay, and then another thing you can do is you can sort of build up, let's see if we could do this, sort of build up sections. I mean, there's so many fun things you can do, and it does take a little bit of time to get the core down because you're holding thread and you're pinching with your two fingers, and so there's a little bit to it. You know what I like to really core spin a lot is if you make a bat with layers of color and then core spin that and then thread ply it. Oh my gosh, it is so pretty. It's so darn pretty. It's like a surprise every time I do that. All right, let me show you the bat I made out of the soft silk, and I'll tell you how I did it. So this was made out of, I think this was holly. So if you have a carder, this was put through a few times, so it's pretty blended. But when you card on a bat with soft silk, you want to really fluff it up and get it really fluffy and thin. And then you want to turn your carder slowly, because if you go too fast, it's going to pull it in big chunks. So you want that big drum just to pull off small pieces of the soft silk, and then make sure and burnish it. And then you might want to put it through a few times. But you can definitely card this if you want, but you can use this for your silk paper. Like you could take different colors and make bats like this. And so the silk papers, you lay it down on tulle fabric, you get it wet, and you put like a stiffener on it and then let it dry. I mean, it's really pretty darn cool. People make, we made a book cover out of it once, and then some people even do, excuse me, what am I trying to think? Oh, lampshades. Yeah, lampshades out of it. You adore me. I adore you. I wouldn't be if it wasn't for you guys. Okay, so what I'm going to do is tear this in half if I can, and I'm just going to tear a piece off just to make it a little bit more manageable. So that's the thing with bats. Even big wool bats, you can tear them into pieces, into sections. You can tear colors off. You can. So I have this class online. It's the Master Gradient Carding class. And I show you how to take the same bat and tear it up 4 different ways and come up with 4 unique yarns. So, and that wasn't even all of the yarns that I could have made. It just goes on forever. Forever, forever, forever. Okay, so I'm going to hold the fiber in this side and then these little pieces here. Build up some twist and then off we go. And then if I want to smooth it down, I just keep my finger under there. Again, the practice part. I mean, some people, oh my gosh, like JC Boggs, her Corespun is stupendous. It's absolutely beautiful. But and if mine doesn't come up perfect, I'm like, oh, I just love the imperfections. The imperfections in the yarn is what gives it character. That's my go-to, and I'm sticking with it. All right. Hey, thanks for joining me today. This is really nice. This is really nice. So I had a cold for about a week. It wasn't COVID, but I had a really, really bad cold. And I wasn't able to see my grand boys, which are 8, for 2 weeks, because every time somebody gets sick, we're like, oh, let's just give it 2 weeks. And I get to see them this Friday. They're 8, and oh my gosh, they are my little boys. I'm so excited to see them Friday. Isn't that crazy? I think it's more because I need some company. All right, so that is the course spinning. And let me show you some of the yarns that I've done. This is, let's see, this one. These are all 100% soft silk. Let's see if we can get it in front of the camera. This is a Navajo ply. So some people want to make thick yarns, right? And they just can't seem to draft thick. Well, you can get a thick yarn just by plying more. You can ply and ply and ply, and it can get as thick as you want. So that is one that's just soft silk, and it's really light and super soft. And then this one's cool. I don't think I have these colorways anymore. I get different colorways all the time. So I think we called this one bark because it looks like tree bark. But look at that. Look how thick that is. But this is really, and it's really not super fuzzy on the outside. Once you ply it, it's really pretty. So that's really pretty. And then we have one more. And this one, I think this one was called Lava. Like I said, we've done this for years, and I just don't even know why I remember these names. It's just so weird. It's not even on the tag, but I just remember the names. And then this one is, I think this is a 2-ply. Isn't that pretty though? I like that one. That one's really neat. I like that. But soft silk is really, really a versatile. I'm going to break this off, and I'm just going to try to spin it the way it is and see what happens. The magic of live video. Remember the live shows like the Ed Sullivan Show? I am old, dude. The Ed Sullivan Show and the King family. Who remembers the King family? Oh yeah, Monet's really pretty. I haven't had that in a long time though. I haven't had that in a long time. All right, so I took that core off, and let's see what we can do here. Now, when you join any fiber, and the same goes for soft silk, I used to join. Well, it's going to be hard to show on this, but I would join with the fiber kind of next to the thing and pull down. But the problem was it always came apart. So what I found is have your fiber, have this little eyelashy area 90 degrees to where you want to attach it, and then pull it down. So let some of those fibers pull on at that 90-degree angle first. What is Navajo ply? Oh, Navajo ply, sorry if that was in, Navajo ply is a technique where you ply 3 strands of fiber, but it's kind of like a chain ply. You actually Navajo ply from 1 bobbin. So that's pretty cool. I think I have a video on that and I'll show it another time. You're totally new. Yay for totally new. Girl, you have a lot to learn. I am still learning. I know a lot, but I can't believe how much there is. Oh, so get this. All right. So I have a lot of wool. Okay. And I know you all do too. So me and my husband laugh. And I said, hey, Cal, I said, when I die, I said, you can just throw this all away. He's like, oh, don't worry. I'm going to throw it all away. And I said, well, you know what? Better yet, why don't you just pack my casket with all the wool? Keep me warm. Oh my gosh. Oh, it is a rabbit hole and we love it, right? We love, and what's really interesting is all the classes and things that I teach, and I get to know people, and I really love to hear what people do for a living. And I can't tell you how many engineers and doctors and just really technical type people that are in this industry. I mean, they're really smart and they have jobs that are very technical. And I think spinning just gives them the sense they need of color and creation and community and all that stuff that they don't get in their job. But look, this is cool, right? So you can spin this all on its own. Oop, there's the plyback. It's not perfect, but it's pretty and it's different. Gosh, when I first started, I'll just spin and talk for a minute. Well, I'll tell you some things about me. I wish you guys could talk to me. That would be pretty cool, right? I'll have to do a Zoom. Everybody can chit chat. I started out, I'm a physical therapist and I lived in Ohio and I moved to Utah and got a job as a rehab director there. But then we thought we wanted to invest a little money and I thought, well, we were either going to do those serval cats, those really big cats, or alpacas. So we decided to do alpacas. And within no time, we had 25 alpacas and my basement was getting full of fiber. So I thought, you know what, I really want to learn the fiber end of the business because in that time, people that raised alpacas really did it for the money because alpacas were expensive. And they raised babies and sold them for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. So I started taking a lot of classes on grading the fiber. I took a couple classes on that and how to dye it and all that stuff. So that's where I really got my start, is spinning alpaca, dyeing it, and scouring it. Have you ever spun on one of the bigger Treadle Spinolution wheels? Not the Spinolution, but I had a country, Ashford Country, that really big one with the bobbin that can hold 4 pounds of fiber. It's massive. And I got rid of that. And then I have one that's very similar. I don't know if it's homemade or maybe one of the first countries that came out, but I have that one. So I've really only have 2 wheels right now. And I think that's what I'm going to stick with, is just these 2 wheels because they do everything I need them to do. I don't know about the Spinolution, so I really can't, let me close this on here. So I really can't say anything about that. Seashell, what's your real name? Yeah, we had, oh my gosh. Yeah, Utah was where I got my start. Oh my goodness. And then we moved to Florida because my daughter had twins and she's going to kill me, but she had 2 really late. Okay, Michelle. She had 2 really late miscarriages. And then she got pregnant with twins. And I said, I told my husband, I'm quitting my job and I'm going to Florida. I said, you can either come with me or not. So this is my second husband, and that's not his daughter. But he said, okay, we'll go to Florida. It really bless his little heart because he's been trying to get me to Florida anyway. And I said, no, there's too many mosquitoes and alligators and all that stuff. So once we got here, I'm like, okay, there's no mosquitoes. There's no alligators in my backyard. Like, what are people so afraid of? But it's fun. Actually go alligator hunting at a local bird sanctuary, and we do find them. So it's a lot of fun. But we like it here. It's so hot. Oh my gosh, it's so hot in the summer. But the winter, we adore it. Oh, Kindred Cottage in Panama City. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. So we moved here, and people in Florida said they actually air conditioned their barns for their alpacas. I'm like, oh, that ain't gonna happen. So we got rid of them all. I mean, the market was starting to tank, and we could barely give them away at the time. We gave like 3 to our shearer for shearing, and sold girls for like $1,000. I mean, it was really sad. But I told my husband, I said, what doesn't make us go bankrupt just makes us stronger. So that's how we look at it. And then I got into, yeah, I live for the winter too. Right now it's still hot. I can't believe it. But then I open my windows and try not to turn the heat on as best I can. Um, then I started getting into wools and a lot of silks and things like that. And wool was so much easier to spin than alpaca. But it was really good to learn on, because then I got my hands on wool and was like, oh yeah, I could do this. But the different kinds of wool and the grades and just so many different things. And I got into scouring more because I heard people talking about so many issues with scouring. So that really became my passion. And I love the research side of it and the experimentation side of it. So then I wrote a book, The Art of Washing Wool, Mohair, and Alpaca, that you can find on Amazon. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Um, oh yeah, the silks. Gosh, yeah, we got into a lot of silks, and we kind of stuck with a few things. But it's kind of like you ebb and flow. You go between things, and you focus your energies on like a book or a class, and then other things kind of get put to the side. But now that my classes are up and running, and they've been running since January. Okay, this is a weird thing too. So let me see if I can put this on me. You can see my face while I'm talking. So I won't be looking directly in the camera, but at least you can see me. This is what's really weird. So last year, because I was teaching a lot at fiber festivals, and I told my husband, I said, I think I want to take a break from teaching for a year and maybe do some online classes, because so many people were asking me to do online classes because, one, they either didn't have the health to travel, they didn't have the money, maybe they had somebody at home they needed to take care of. So there were a lot of different reasons that people couldn't travel. And, I think I had 20, 30 people in class, something like that. But and I just felt like I wanted to reach more people, especially with carding and scouring, because so many people needed help out there for that. But there's if you don't learn, if somebody doesn't teach you, like some people say they're self-taught. But then I took a class from JC Boggs on woolen and worsted, and I'm telling you, that opened my world. And just those 2 little words, and one day we'll go over those, and they're super easy. You just have to get a grasp on them, a grip on them, and then you'll be able to kind of talk the talk about spinning. Where was I? I forgot what. Oh, so this is the weird thing. So I started the scouring, doing my my experimentation and all my research around November, December-ish, right? And then I was going to go to Asheville to visit my daughter, I think in February or March. And then then that COVID thing happened, right? In China. And there were a few people in the States, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is so weird. Like, where is this going to go? And I told my husband, I said, I don't know if I should travel or not travel, but I did go to Asheville, and then I finished my classes. And seriously, I don't know what made me do it, but it was the best thing I could have done for this year, honestly, because I didn't have any classes. And, you know, th- um, sales were down, people weren't buying as much. And then, so our first month during all this COVID, like March or April, we barely sold anything. And I thought, oh no. And then I wasn't doing physical therapy at the time because of the COVID. We weren't seeing patients. And my daughter in North Carolina does a little part of the business with me. And it was really helping her family a lot. So I was really worried more for her than for me. So Spin-Off Magazine had this little giveaway thing, a little thing where if you wrote to them, they would give you an email. They would send out an email for you. So we won one of them, and I'm telling you, it saved us. I mean, it saved us from from ruin or not being around anymore. And I love this fiber community so much, and I'm not going anywhere. So anyway, thank you all for watching. I love you guys so much. And I am going to work on some sort of um, a long process for beginner spinners, and maybe some intermediate things for sure. Just so you can learn how to spin in a manner of A to B to C to D to E to F, because when you learn on YouTube, you get little pieces of the puzzle, but you don't know where it goes sometimes. And that was it for me as well. I mean, things just started falling into place, and I know there's still pieces I need to find, but I'll teach you all the pieces I know. All right. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll talk to you soon. Maybe leave in the comments what you would like me to do next time. We could do some different drafts. We could talk about woolen and worsted, the horrible words woolen and worsted. But all right, you guys. Love you so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.